Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel as always. Rich is doing another video on XRP today, so I hope everyone is having a great day wherever they are in the world. We're going to talk about XRP, and I have to start with the fact that the price of XRP is at a glass ceiling as every bank talks about it. In this article, they discuss how Ripple is replacing SWIFT. Additionally, I agree with the points made in this post. The US political landscape is shifting in Ripple's favor despite the bank's sluggishness. In order to allow private issuers like Ripple to expand, lawmakers have established clear guidelines for stablecoins and drawn boundaries against a government-issued digital dollar. The US is at last prepared to update its payment rails, according to Garlinghouse, who has referred to the possibility as enormous. For the first time in years, Ripple may pursue its goal of surpassing SWIFT without the distraction of a court case looming over it. The litigation between Ripple and the SEC was, in my opinion, the biggest obstacle to Ripple's progress. Nobody from a bank wants to speak with someone who is involved in an SEC case. With that out of the way, I believe Ripple can move forward quickly. Additionally, I believe SWIFT is having issues with this. Russia sanctions and the ripple effect on economies in the global south. Although they mention the ripple effect, they don't even discuss Ripple in this article. Those penalties, people may have done that intentionally. These nations have had enough of the sanctions. In order to prevent future sanctions, these nations are currently creating their own payment methods, which benefits Ripple's as well. Then there is this smoke-derived image that illustrates how XRP serves as an SDR. Since it is global and not limited by a single currency, it may be exchanged for all major currencies, including digital currencies like XRP, which matches the bill description of how blockchain settlements can be incorporated into an SDR in the final slide. Thus, this is the current appearance of an SDR. Additionally, it appeared to be an SDR even in the early mappings for XRP. We are looking at a 4-digit XRP if it were to be used as an ESDR. Furthermore, many would contend that Ripple is owned by the IMF. Some believe that Ripple is the IMF. This is what I do know. There will be enormous XRP liquidity pools everywhere in the world. The source of this is Black Swan Capitalist. SWIFT's ISO 222 conversion is being spearheaded by Citibank. Every bank will do the same. The new standard is this: for international payments, fixes messaging, not settlement. The gap is that the bridge that enables value transmission in real time is XRP. What is everyone's desire? They desire immediate satisfaction and real-time compensation. You won't get that without XRP, and you won't get it with SWIFT either. Everything boils down to the settlement, or the rear end. And XRP is designed to accomplish that. SWIFT will eventually be replaced in a similar manner by XRP and RippleNet. Everyone is obsessed with everything in real time. Ripple also benefits from that. Strong indication for XRP. Banks are investing in cryptocurrency more quickly, according to the CFTC chair. Listen to it. Banned banks from using digital assets unless they received a letter from the bank regulators stating that they were okay with it. I believe the SEC overlooked the fact that banks are publicly traded corporations and that they hold assets in the notorious SAB 121. Therefore, it was obviously significant that acting chairman Xrp Esdr revoked that on the second day of his, I believe, tenure. In order for banks to carry out these tasks, naturally, JP Morgan, BNY, Citi and all the other banks have been highly active in the digital asset market. It has simply been silent. At this point, I believe you will be able to see their significant acceleration. All of these projects that have been underway since 2016 will now begin to experience increased deployment and volume, and so forth, and so on. And a great deal of it has been accomplished through strategic equity investments and portfolio companies. That deployment will be visible to you, but it is. She warned that it will now escalate, so pay attention. We've been waiting for this as well, as I believe that many of these banks will interfere with Ripple over custody. Additionally, they will be collaborating with Ripple to facilitate cross-border payments, probably using XRP for liquidity on the Mintman as well. However, they are informing you that this will occur. And this is a fantastic video from Sandy Cole, Franklin Templeton's head of digital asset innovation. She will attend Ripple Swell 2025 as well. Listen to this out. Yes, I have to tell myself this every day as well. Thus I advise myself to maintain my composure and patience. As we just covered, there is a strong foundation for what is about to happen. It is so potent that you will be pursuing profits that you are most likely in a prime position to receive today if you wait until it occurs, right? Thus exercise patience. We've only seen the amount of money in the crypto markets rise from 3 to 4 trillion, right? That's another thing I always try to remind myself of, despite all the enthusiasm that has grown over the previous 18 months with cryptocurrency and the markets being at record highs in many cases. The total amount of money invested in the larger group of assets that are now not on crypto rails is $100 trillion. Just consider this once more: if 10% of that money goes into cryptocurrency and token-based investments, we are expanding the size of the cryptocurrency markets by 2.5 or 2.5 times, correct? Therefore, exercise patience, since the wall of money will eventually arrive, and you do not want to be liquidated and set away before it does. She is advising you to hold off on selling until the wall of money arrives. Only 10% gives us a 2.5x, she added. Of that $100 trillion, $50 trillion is probably going to arrive in this area sooner than most people anticipate. But everyone is so eager to sell. It is comparable to the retail mentality. You must adopt the institution's way of thinking. Institutions don't say, well, I'm going to sell now because I think it's going to come back down if the price of something rises. No, they remain in that position because they are aware of what is about to happen. Everyone knows what's going to happen. How could you possibly sell to Zoom? And Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, stated that some rivals who might have won the mistake took seriously the claim that Ripple's smart contract capabilities threatened early ETH DeFi. However, in the case of Ripple, they simply abandoned smart contracts, which created an opportunity for ETH. He did not address the reason why Ripple did so or did not pursue the smart contract path. Listen to David Schwartz here. What amazing things could Vitalik have achieved at Ripple, do you think? No, but really, Vitalik had some excellent layer 1 smart contract ideas, and he once discussed his thoughts while sitting on Stefan's couch, who was CTO at the time. We were clearly quite struck by his clear vision, which, as it turned out, was not all that far ahead of its time. I am Stefan Thomas, and he is indeed me. Vitalik and Arthur Brito occasionally discussed things like including layer 1 smart contracts into our system. Interestingly, there were several reasons why we didn't want to adopt that concept at the time. We're a little late to the party when it comes to discussing that, I suppose. Yeah, but I believe that if Vitalik had convinced Stefan, Arthur and I to incorporate smart contracts into layer 1 of the XRP ledger early on, it would have been. It's an intriguing counterfactual to consider. However, I believe that our fear was that it would result in higher transaction fees and fewer transactions per second, as Ethereum demonstrates. And there are expenses involved. Additionally, there are undoubtedly advantages to it as well, which you might debate. Transactions would have been slower and more costly as a result. That's the crux of the matter. Cross-border payments and the futures market were the focal points of Ripple. Therefore, other networks would have undoubtedly jumped ahead if they had smart contracts because they would have been quicker and less expensive. However, the EVM sidechain is now available. Without compromising the performance of the main network, the sidechain enables the deployment of Ethereum-based smart contracts on the XRP ledger. It has no effect whatsoever on XRP's speed or cost. Since blockchain isn't the obvious next step, it was actually a good thing that Ripple waited for the EVM sidechain in smart contracts early on. B discusses VHS and how it has been motivated by this, not a white paper, in order to reduce agency costs, improve accuracy, decrease fraud, and enhance the efficacy of an analog system by implementing decentralized decision-making in a programmable way. All I'm doing is gobbling up. That, in my opinion, is the future. Therefore, it's innovative, but it's not. It's not disruptive, in my opinion. The next step, if you will. You're switching to streaming from VHS. Be aware that you are switching from VHS to streaming. He claimed that neither the white paper nor Bitcoin motivated him. He is motivated by the advancements in technology. First of all, it doesn't really disturb anything. The banks are disrupted because they miss